Well, what's up, tribe? How you guys doing? It's just a little quick drop. I want to see how you feel about some things. So last night I was looking at T.I. and Tiny Friends and Family Hustle, which my review will be up a little bit later on, because I was going to do this as part of my review, but then I decided to do it as a separate video. Something that came up on last night's episode, which is a very interesting topic. It's a topic of HBCUs versus PIWs, or PWIs, excuse me, PIWs. HBCU being historical black college and university versus a predominantly white institution. So I myself, let me say in full disclosure, I am biased on this topic because I myself went to a HBCU. Now, the topic that came up last night, T.I.'s oldest son, Damani, is it Damani? His oldest son is getting ready to graduate from college, and I've always thought his oldest son was very mature, and it's good to know that he's getting ready to graduate from high school and he has options. Like, he's not going to whatever school takes him. He has options to choose the school he would like to go to, and he was trying to decide between Morehouse was one of the schools. He ended up Georgia State was the school he ended up choosing. But there was a big conversation because T.I. wanted him to go to Morehouse. And so they were having the conversation of why Morehouse, or why HBCU versus a state school or a predominantly white school. And Morehouse, which of course has a very rich history. Some of the alumni from Morehouse College, most prominent that we would think of off the top of our head would be Martin Luther King Jr. But, people by the likes of... Spike Lee. What's my man's name? He's a movie person. It's getting stuck. But their alumni go on and on and on and on and on. Doctors, lawyers, politicians, entrepreneurs, businessmen. But even Sam Jackson got kicked out of Morehouse for holding Martin Luther King's father hostage. That's a whole nother story for another video, another day. But you can Google it. Anyway, so as myself, a graduate of a historical black college or university, I went to Bennett College in Greensboro, North Carolina, and I'm a very proud graduate. And what I tell people all the time is that my parents made me the girl I was. Bennett made me the woman I am. And I know my life is richer because of my experience at Bennett College. Does that mean that I wouldn't have had great experiences at another school? Obviously, I believe I would have. But I do believe, whether you believe in God, spirituality, or what have you, I believe that you walk in the path that is meant for you if you pay attention to the signs that are put before you. And I believe I followed the signs that were put before me, and I believe that I went where I was supposed to go. Now, what pissed me off last night, to be perfectly honest about the matter, was there was a conversation that was had where T.I. exposed his son to talk to people who went to predominantly white university. And one of the comments that was made was, well, I have friends that go to Savannah State and we way ahead of where they are. Bitch, what? Let me say this. Did my college have all the bells and whistles of a state university? I had friends who were at Duke University the same time I was at Bennett. And honey, the stuff they used to tell me about the campus, I was like, what? Y'all have what? They had a food court in their cafeteria. They still do. If you ever go to Duke, they still do. And I was at Duke this summer and ate in their cafeteria, and they have like full-fledged restaurants that you can choose from. Like, oh, today I want soul food. Oh, I'll take Thai tomorrow. Oh, wait a minute. No, maybe I'll do Mediterranean. Like, literally, those are the options. But you also paying $40,000 a year. You know what I'm saying? Like, you paying for those options. And when she was there, they had cars. I would go and visit her, and I had friends at UNC, all of that. And they had Pizza Hut, Taco Bell. They had all these different things that clearly my little school didn't have all those options. And it wasn't just because it was an HBCU, but it's also because it was a small school. There are some HBCUs that are very large universities. And I say this because I feel like, honestly, I feel like that's part of where we are right now. HBCUs are struggling overall. There are some that are doing very well. Schools like Morehouse and Howard and Spelman have waiting lists, and they are the top of the top, and they don't have any problems. But if you have other schools like my school, to be perfectly candid, that is struggling to keep up enrollment and to maintain certain things. But when we went into the classroom, The education that I got at Bennett College, second to none. Second to none. And we may not have had all the bells and whistles. True indeed. But I don't think that what I walked away from when I got my degree was any less significant than the person down the street at UNCG, University of North Carolina at Greensboro. And I think we need to get away from that mentality that an HBCU is going to get your child something less, that they're going to be less than because they went to a quote-unquote a black school. That's part of our problem now, is that we think that because it came from a black business, it's less than, or because it was a black doctor, they don't have as much education, or a black lawyer, that they're not going to get you the same amount of money. Like, we have to get away from that mentality that for some reason that black is less than what white is. You know, and I don't knock the decision that this young man made. He decided to go to Georgia State. I have no problems with anybody going to the school of their choice. That's what it's about. But make the decision based on fact and not these stereotypes. And one of the things that was said was, well, I want to go to, it wasn't said by Damani, it's said by one of his other sons. Well, you know, there's more than just white in the world, and I want to meet more, I feel like I want to have more than white. You know, I'm paraphrasing, but basically there's more than just white people in this world. I mean, black people in this world, and I need to expose myself to black people and white people. Like, I need to be exposed to it. Baby, you're going to be exposed to white people the rest of your life. Now, for myself, I went to a white high school, and I was always the rebel that I was. I walked around with Malcolm X buttons on my book bag and Public Enemy t-shirts and stickers, and like, I was that person in high school. And I went to a white high school, and I think I scared some people, to be honest about the matter. But for me, it was what I needed at that time in my life. And so I want to hear what you guys think. Like, what are your opinions on HBCUs versus PWIs? And again, it's not to put anybody else's school down, but I just want people to make decisions based on what's really good, like what's really going on. You know, they doing all these reboots. Let's reboot A Different World, because, you know, HBCU enrollment like skyrocketed while A Different World was on. And what you saw on the TV show was not that far from my experience. The people that I met, like, I'm going to homecoming this weekend, and these are people that I met amount of years ago when I was at Bennett. These are people that looked out for me who are my sisters. They not like sisters, they are my sisters. And there's a sisterhood there that if you say you went to Bennett College, it's like a calling card. Like, you can go anywhere in the country and link up with a Bennett Belle, and they're going to give you a warm meal and a place to sleep. Like, it's not going to be no questions asked. It's not going to be no problems. And with the people that I met across the tracks at A&T, which is another HBCU, some of my best friends went to A&T, who I'm still friends with to this day. And just like I said, always got a warm meal, a bed to sleep in, no questions asked. And I think we need to really, really go back to that mentality, you know, not to go too far out in left field. But here's the thing with separate but equal. People always talk about separate but equal, you know, integration ruined, da-da-da-da-da. And what people need to realize is the separate but equal wasn't the issue wasn't the separate part. The issue was the equal part. It was never equal. And so I say HBCUs were started because they would not let us in their schools. They would not allow us to go to their schools. And some of the best and brightest went to HBCUs. The pedigree of some of these schools, of who they graduated, of who walked through those doors, were the top of the top of the top. I want y'all to go. It's on Amazon Prime. You can buy it on Amazon Prime. If not, PBS. It was on PBS last year, and I'm sure it'll be on there in February. It's a documentary called Tell Them We Are Rising, and it's the history of the HBCU. Please go watch it. Please go watch it. I don't care who you are, white, black, and different. Go watch it and find out the history of what the HBCU did, going all the way back to Reconstruction, all the way through World War I, World War II, all the way through the Civil Rights Movement, into the 60s, into the 70s. Please understand the history of what an HBCU is and what it has to offer, and why it is so important that we preserve that history. And so it pissed me off last night. I'm calmed down now. Last night, if I had done the video, I would probably be a lot more angry. But I'm calmed down now. But I want us to just be very thoughtful and not throw the baby out with the bathwater now that we are allowed to go in through the front door. I don't want us to forget that, we had some really good times in that back room. You know what I'm saying? Does that make sense? Okay. And to all of you that graduated from an HBCU and you are alumni, you're listening to me right now, write a check right now. I don't care if it's for $5, $10, $20. Give back to your HBCU, because, see, that's another problem that we have. We don't support ourselves and we don't give back to our own. And that's another reason why there's some financial situations, because if everybody who graduated from an HBCU just sent $10 a month, just wrote a check, $10 a month. And I ain't always happy with everything that goes on at my alma mater, but you know what I don't want to see happen is the doors closed. So, as James would say, I'm off my soapbox. Y'all have a great evening. I'm about to come back in a few minutes. Let's get into some shit. All right, talk to y'all later. Peace.